head over towards Pamunkey, once again, right along the Potomac River. So there could be a water spout here that's moving inland. That's what the National Weather Service is watching right now. So once again, a tornado warning in effect until 3:15. You can see the lightning associated with this storm. So it's got a lot of lightning, and it does have some rotation associated with it. Tornado warning till 3:15. Once again, Indian Head and Pamunkey. This goes right along 210 here, Indian Head Highway. So watch out around this area going up towards Accokeek. That's where this storm is heading right now. So there's the strongest part of this storm, which is right now around Woodbridge and then right over the border in through the Potomac River in towards northern portions of Charles County. So this does not include areas like Waldorf or Clinton or Alexandria just yet, but that's where this storm is moving. You can see right here as it's moving up to the north, it's really the only one that has a lot of lightning associated with it. We've got showers and thunderstorms pretty much area wide now, continuing to make their way through, and we have a flood watch that's in effect for our area, but all eyes on this storm right here, and I've been looking at this very closely. Does have some rotation associated with it. So we're looking at the lightning, we're looking at this here, and you can see where that storm is right around Indian Head Highway there as you make your way out of Accokeek down to the south towards the Pamunkey area, right towards Indian Head. You can see the Potomac River right in here. That's the Potomac. So this is moving right along the Potomac River. This does not include Fairfax County, except for the extreme eastern southern part here, but this is all going to be right along Indian Head Highway. So if you live in this area, please watch out. Please stay indoors. Please make sure you're in the lowest level of your home. You want to be inside, whether it's a bathroom. Normally a bathroom or a closet is going to be the best place for you. But this tornado warning for Charles County going until 3:15. Once again, you want to get to the lowest level of your home to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So that means a bathroom or a closet. A lot of times that's the best places to go because you don't want to have any windows. And those are the rooms that normally do not have much in the way of windows. But once again, a lot of light associated with this as it makes its way toward the north and east here. I'm going to do a couple of zooms here. I want you to stick with me right now as I move over and show you where this is. This is going to be making its way up toward the north. I'm going to see if it still has some rotation associated with this storm in and around that area. Now, once again, this was coming right over. It does have some hail potentially with it, maybe losing a little bit of rotation, but I see the rotation. It is right there, right around Potomac Heights. So if you live around Indian Head or Potomac Heights, right around Bryan Road, that's where we're looking at this storm. Once again, I'll take the storm tracks off, take the radar off, and you can see exactly where this is. Let's go ahead and zoom on in. This is right around. There's the Potomac Heights area. There's Indian Head. This is exactly where this is. So Chapman's Landing Road, right along 210. Again, Indian Head Highway, making its way up toward the north and east here, around Hungerford Road. So if you're in that area, please watch out. You want to make sure you're in that interior room if you can. Now, if I track this out, let me just put the radar on here one more time. So I want to track where this is going. So looking at this now, this is in and along the Potomac River. So as this moves up toward the north and east, and once again, it's moving at 15 miles per hour. So moving at 15 miles per hour. So let me time this out for us as we see this. It's right about here is where this is now. Moving up about 15 miles per hour. If it stays in this area and stays as a possible tornado, you're looking at North Indian Head Estates at 304. You're looking at Strawberry Hills Estates at around 308. And you're looking at Accokeek at around 319. So once again, tornado warning in effect for Charles County, that going until 3:15. And as I mentioned, that's really the only name in the game as far as thunderstorms go. I mean, this is a pretty strong storm. Doesn't even have a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it, even though we could have some small hail with this and some gusty winds. For sure, this is going to be a problem on the waterways down there. That's why they had a small craft advisory issued a little bit earlier for this. But you notice a little bit of lightning to the north, a little bit with this guy into Calvert County, right along the Patuxent. You have a few more back here towards parts of West Virginia. But it's this storm right here that we're going to be watching. Now, once again, this storm is moving in towards Fairfax County. So if you're in Fairfax County, say around the Mount Vernon area, this is an area that you want to watch out for too, because as this moves up, it's going to potentially clip southern areas of Fairfax County, including areas around Mount Vernon and just to the south and east of that along Route 1. Now, the tornado warning is only for Charles County right now. And we're waiting to see if they're going to extend this. I'm watching where this rotation is. It's right around where this bolt of lightning is here, just to the north of the Indian Head development, as we looked at this just a second ago. So again, as you're making your way down 210 from Accokeek in towards areas like Pamunkey, down towards Indian Head, this is where this tornado would be possibly. And let me see if I can put on for you where this rotation may be. So let me just make sure, see if this is going to look okay if I put this on for you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to pick up, but I want to make sure we have that. If we can get the velocity on this and see, yeah, there it is right there. So anytime you see this, and what I mean by this, you're talking about the greens, and you're talking about the reds. Anytime they're close together, this is what's called a couplet. And this is actually spin in the atmosphere. And you can see right here, this is Virginia, and this right here is the Potomac River. So this is going right over the Potomac River. If this is on the ground, it's most likely over the Potomac. And a lot of times, these storms, it's a little bit easier for them to get going and spinning, a little bit easier for a water spout to develop than a tornado, because you do have that energy that's a little bit easier, and you don't have as much friction as far as trees and hills and things like that go. So this could be a water spout over the Potomac River right now. But this tornado warning continues until 3:15. But that is a clear sign right there that there could be a tornado here, and there's definitely going to be some rotation. So if you're living around Indian Head, it's just now to the north of you. So you're out of the woods here, but I'd still make sure you stay in your safe place here for maybe another 10, 15 minutes or so. But if you're up, and let me zoom in on this, and let me show you where this is. So again, the Potomac River is right there. So once again, I'm just going to put a little circle where this is. So this would be where that tornado would be. I'm going to take this away for just a second. I'm also going to take away my lightning. You can see now, if I zoom on in, that is right over the Potomac River. That's where my circle was. My circle was right about here. So this was right over the Potomac River and moving right over the extreme southern portion here of Fairfax County. This is well south of Lorton. Give me 1 second on this one as I put this into motion. I'm going to put this back onto my radar here so we can look at that. Back onto radar so we can see where this is going to be heading. And let me do the last hour so you can see where this is heading. Now, I'm going to go back really quickly, and I'm just taking a look at where this is on maps. I want to make sure that we know exactly where this is coming through. So this is going over the Maryland, D.C. area. This right now is going to be right over Halloween Point. If you're in Virginia and you're in Fairfax County, you're in Halloween Point, you're in Gunston Manor Community Center, down along the Gunston Point area as in Virginia as it moves into the Potomac. That's where that tornado possibly is. And then it's moving right along Indian Head Highway, just to the north and west of Indian Head Highway. Now, this is going to come right close to Bryan's Road. So if you're in Bryan's Road right now, and let's go ahead and zoom on into that area right now. So let's go ahead and zoom on into the Bryan's Road area. So Bryan's Road, here you are on Bryan's Road. Maybe you live near the Food Lion. Maybe you're right by that McDonald's right downtown there in Bryan's Road. Right at that major intersection with 227 and Indian Head Highway. That's the area that you really want to watch out for. If you live in any of those neighborhoods, this is right over toward the Ruth Swan Memorial Park there. If you live in any of these neighborhoods, you want to make sure you are definitely in the lowest level of your home. In Virginia, once again, in Virginia, this is going to affect areas down along River Drive. This is right around the Halloween Point area. So Halloween Point is where we're looking at this. We're looking at the, as I mentioned, the Gunston Manor Community Center. If you know where that area is, right along River Drive down there on Mallard Road, that's an area that could possibly see this go on top of them. So that's an area that we're going to be watching extremely closely as well. Let's go ahead and put this back on here. I want to put this back on because now this is getting up towards a little bit more of a populated area. And I'm looking at this right now around Mount Vernon and a little bit more of a populated area. I'm going to stop this real quick. I'm going to put the velocity mode back on. And again, velocity mode allows me to see what is happening within the storm. Now, good news here. Still a little bit of rotation. But a second ago, I was showing you guys that nice little couplet with that dark red. Okay, I don't see that dark red anymore. That's very good news. That means that this rotation may have lifted back into the storm. Now, we still have a little bit down here, Still have a little bit, and it's coming up towards areas along 400, right in towards parts of Fairfax County. So this is an area that we really want to watch out for. Still have that tornado warning in effect until 3:15. But once again, it does not look like there's a whole lot of rotation there, although that rotation, now that I'm looking at it again, is trying to work its way back. And this is what's going to be happening. Now, I'm looking at this. It just passed that Halloween Point area and is now moving back across the river, right over towards, and I'll put the radar back on here. It is moving right across the river, back over in towards parts of Charles County. Let me take this off really fast so you can see where this is. It's moving right back into this part of Charles County. So this is River Road in Charles County. This is around Fenwick Road, Marshall Hall Road. Now this is the area that we're watching it, okay? This is going to be, most likely this is right around the Bryan's Road area. And you're looking at this now towards Fenwick Road, Marshall Hall Road, around River Road there. That's the area where this tornado warning would be right now. And again, this goes until 3:15. So now, looking at this and looking at where this rotation would be, it's literally right over the river, right here, and moving to the north and east at about 25 miles an hour. And on that track, and it's not plotting for me. Give me 1 second. On that track, let's do this again. Make sure we get that plot all set up. On that track, it is going to be making its way. No idea why it's not plotting for me, but it should be making its way right up toward the north. May not be plotting because there's no towns there. No towns officially in that area, but again, this is just to the west of Accokeek, just to the west of Bryan's Road in Charles County. Now, that is the line, by the way, okay? That is the line right here. This is the border between Charles County and Prince George's County. Now, Prince George's County, you are not under this warning just yet. But if this continues to show some rotation, you could be put under this warning at any time. And if you were, it would be areas around Accokeek and probably points to the west. So that's what we're going to be looking at. But right now, this is only for Charles County. You can see where the storm is just south. Here's Mount Vernon right here. Just south of Mount Vernon. A lot of lightning associated with this storm. As you see that movement from south to north, making its way across that area, that's the biggest storm there is. Also some pretty good lightning now in the parts of Montgomery County along the Patuxent River here. And then again, Patuxent River down towards Calvert County and St. Mary's County. But it's this storm right here that we're really watching with that lightning and with that potential for that velocity, or with that potential for that tornado in that area. Tornado warning in effect for Charles County, only Charles County, until 3:15. So please watch out for that. I do think it passed over, it could have passed over that Halloween Point area of Virginia about 10 minutes ago. If you're in Indian Head itself, Indian Head down toward the south, you're in Indian Head at yourself, you are safe. Notice you're safe here. Notice Pamunkey, you are now safe. This is a very small warning. And there's not a lot going on in this area, but let me go ahead and zoom on in again to where this is into parts of Charles County right now. Extreme northern part of Charles County, right on the Prince George's County line. This is right around the Bryan's Road area. And let me just zoom into a couple of these roads. Again, this is Fenwick Road, Marshall Road, Norris Farm Place, Westview Place. These are all areas in the extreme northern portions of Charles County along the Prince George's County, Charles County line. Now, once again, there is no warning currently for any other county. Fairfax County, you're not in that warning. Prince George's County, you're not in that warning. We're still looking at this right now. I see a now I see a broad rotation with this, but I no longer see that pinpoint location that pinpoint rotation that we were looking at earlier. And if I take a look at what's called my storm tracks here, I should, if there was a tornado, we'd be seeing rotation. We'd be seeing something that would indicate some rotation. I showed you earlier, it looked like there was some hail with this, but I don't see this as having a whole lot of rotation left in this area. We're going to wait. I want to wait and see. We're going to stay on until we see this either be canceled or until this goes into Prince George's County. And if this goes into Prince George's County, now we're starting to get into a little bit more populated area, especially around Accokeek and then just to the north here up along Indian Head Highway as we move into farther portions of central portions of Prince George's County, closer to areas like National Harbor, closer to areas like Oxon Hill, places like that. But right now, this is over a fairly sparsely populated area just to the west of Accokeek, Bryan's Road, just to the north of that. Again, Bryan's Road, this is where that area is around the Food Lion. So if you're around that area south towards Pamunkey, you're fine. But if you're to the north of that, and you folks know who you are, if you're to the north of that food lion down there in Bryan's Road, you know that you're in that underneath that tornado warning right now until 3:15. Once again, I'm not seeing that tight rotation we saw earlier. I'm seeing a broad rotation, which means that at any time that rotation could come together again. We could see that tornado be produced again. But once this moves on land, it's going to be harder to produce a tornado. Once again, over areas like the Potomac River or over the Chesapeake Bay, it's a little bit easier to get that spin because you don't have that area along the surface to provide you with friction. So you don't have the trees, you don't have the mountains, you don't have houses, things like that. That would help to get rid of a tornado. You only have the water there, so it's a little bit easier to see that making its way in towards the Potomac River. But once it's on shore here, over towards the areas in towards Charles County, we could see that start to weaken a little bit as it moves up to the north. I am not seeing it. Let me just take a look one more time. I am not seeing where this is now. This very broad rotation. It's still there, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot here. So that's some pretty good news out of this. Now, I haven't canceled the warning yet, and this storm is about to move into Prince George's County. So I do not see them as of right now, and I'm right now currently reading what the National Weather Service is saying. I do not see this storm as of now being warned in towards Prince George's County. That is very good news. And if it was warned into Prince George's County, it may actually hit an area as well in towards southern portions of Fairfax County. Let me just take this off really quick. I'm going to take off everything here and just zoom into that next area that could be there. And that does include part of Fairfax County. So that does include areas like Fort Washington. That does include Fort Washington. That includes areas around the Mount Vernon area, around Fort Hunt Park. That is right around Fort Hunt Park in Fairfax County. That is in and around Fort Washington, in through Maryland. So once again, you're getting into a more populated area here, and that is making its way that way. If it was to continue there, now I can do this. I bet this will populate with me because now we have places on the map. So Stratford Landing at 324, Fort Washington at 328, Broadwater Estates at 336. So if this was to stay together and stay a warning, we would see that go in towards Prince George's County, but I'm not seeing that right now. I'm still seeing a little bit of rotation, but not a lot. And it's only currently in that little section of Charles County. I mean, it's right here. This is where that rotation would be, right along the border here, in and around Marshall Hall Road, Berry's Hill Road, Old Landing Road, over towards Old Marshall Hall Road. So the heads up in those regions. I know there's not a lot of homes there, but if you do live here, you want to make sure you're inside that house. You want to make sure, again, you're in an interior room, whether it be a bathroom or a closet, an area that does not have a window. That's the best place to be in a tornado warning. But a tornado warning in effect for Charles County until 3:15. I'm waiting to see. They have not done anything on this just yet. They just say it continues. Latest on this, continues the tornado warning till 3:15. Producing a tornado is located across the Potomac River from Fort Belvoir, moving northeast at 15 miles an hour onshore of northwestern Charles County near Accokeek. Okay, this is a radar-indicated tornado. This is not something that has been seen, but this is a radar-indicated tornado, and we're going to continue to watch as it moves up toward the north and east now, as we said, about 15 miles per hour. Now, I'm just taking a look at the rotation here as well. I'm not really seeing a lot. Now, this is not moving very fast. Only 15 miles an hour, but there again, there it is on the border. There's the border right here between Charles County and Prince George's County. So if they're going to warn on this, and they're going to keep this warning going in towards Prince George's County, they're going to have to do it soon because that storm is about in towards Prince George's County right now. And I don't see them doing that just yet. I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't seen it yet. They have not come down with that yet. If we see it, we would actually see that box continue right on in towards areas like Accokeek, up towards the Fort Washington area. And that would most likely continue until about 3:45, 4 o'clock. But we do not see that just yet. Again, this is moving very slowly. One thing I've noticed, a little less lightning associated with as well. Still has some lightning with it, but a little less lightning too. So this could have been just a really strong flare-up. That rotation came really quickly, moved along the Potomac River, maybe even over that part of Virginia that I was looking at, that Halloween Point area, and now in towards parts of Charles County, making its way to the north and east at 15 miles per hour. And now, as I just looked at the last edge of the storm. Look at the storm now. There's the border. The storm is now into Prince George's County. Okay, it's into Prince George's County, and we do not have a new warning for Prince George's County. This is only Charles County, so it has not gone across. So let me see real fast if they're talking about potentially making its way in towards Prince George's County, and they have not done anything on that just yet. Once again, kind of surprises me. You know, I'd love to see them either discontinue this warning right now, as this storm is now out of Charles County. I mean, you can see where the storm is. It's up towards Fort Washington. And right along that, this is now Fort Washington in towards Maryland. And then, of course, you're looking at, let me take the radar off of here. So this is now up towards Fort Hunt Park. So they're going to allow this to expire, and we're going to continue to watch this storm. Now, that being said, I just want to say for you folks that are in this area, and let's go ahead and do this real quick. This is the next half hour, okay? This is the next half hour or so, going until about 3:49. Now, there's no more tornado warning with this, so as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to let you guys go. But we're at Fort Washington at 3:24. Now, this is still a strong storm, still has some broad rotation with it, so could we see another potential warning? That's what we're watching here. So watch out around Broadwater Estates at 3:32, Brook Manor at 3:41, and then Oxon Hill coming up at 3:49. If anything else happens, we'll continue to give you the very latest right here on NBC4. But for right now, I'll send it back to programming. I'll see you back here again. We've got a cut-in here coming up in about the next 10 minutes. So I'll be able to give you the very latest on where this is going. But for now, tornado warning till 3:15, allowed to expire. We don't have to worry about that anymore as of right now. But still, pretty strong thunderstorm making its way right up the Potomac River. If you live along the Potomac in Virginia or in Maryland, heads up in this area, especially south of the Beltway for right now. We'll send it back to programming. And hey guys, tracking a storm system that I've been talking about a little while ago, last about hour or so, I've been watching this little guy right here. Little storm into Washington County, into Frederick County, now a tornado warning. We were talking about rotation with that storm. And I said heads up around the Boonesboro area. That's exactly where we're seeing this rotation now. Nothing around the metro area. This is a tornado warning to the north. This includes parts of Washington County and Frederick County until 6:15, right over Boonesboro. If you're in the Boonesboro area, Urbana, heads up. This storm, it does have a history of some rotation with it, so watch out in this area. You want to make sure you get into the lower levels of your house. If you have a bathroom or a closet, that's normally the best place to be. But if you're in the lowest level, that's the best place to be as far as the basement is concerned. If you live in a mobile home in this area, that's where you really want to make sure you're in the interior if you can, or get out of that mobile home if you're able to. I want to show you where the warning is. Here it is right here, making its way along 314 here as you make your way in towards Boonesboro. Heads up around Boonesboro and Urbana. I'll go ahead and zoom on in a little bit more on this one. I want to show you right where this is. This is just to the north of Royersville, just to the north and west of Middletown into Frederick County. But right here in through 34, rather, between Boonesboro, Keedysville, that's where this storm is, making its way to the north and east around Myersville as well. Now, this storm is making its way to the northeast. I'm going to read you what it says here. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Shepherdstown, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. That tornado warning going until 6:15. So heads up in the area around Shepherdstown and around Boonesboro, Keedysville as well, as we watch this storm moving off to the north and east at about, I'm looking for the timing here, about 15 miles per hour. So let me put this on here and show you where this is and where it's heading. Now, over the next hour, this storm is making its way to the north and east in towards areas like Sharpsburg, in through Keedysville at 551, Boonesboro at 602, Bolivar at 610, and then Myersville as it makes its way in towards Frederick County at about 618. So this is the area under that tornado warning until 6:15. So a dangerous storm potentially here. Seen a lot of rotation with this whole storm. This whole storm has been rotating. I say the whole storm, I'm not just talking about this guy, but the whole storm itself has been rotating around. And we've seen a couple of swirls today. We had that earlier tornado warning around Washington County. That tornado warning came right around the Potomac in towards northwestern portions of Charles County, a little bit earlier. Now this one in towards Washington County, southern portion of Washington County, in towards Frederick County as well. This is going to go right over 40 and then eventually right over 70, and you can see that right there. So here's 40, here's 70. So both of these areas are now under that tornado warning. This is just south and east of Boonesboro, but it's going to go very close to the Boonesboro area. If you live around Boonesboro, you really want to watch out in this area. You don't want to go, it's not something you want to go to the windows for. You're not looking to get it on your cell phone. This is not that kind of a system. Again, this is a lot of trees in this area. This is so different than what they deal with out west, where you can actually watch the tornadoes from a distance. This is much different. A lot of trees, also a lot of mountains in this area, so you really want to be careful as you're watching these storms. But I want to go back and show you as we move back. I want to show you the rotation here. Look at the whole thing up in this area, just kind of spinning around. You see the spin here all the way back. So these are moving to the north. These guys back here are moving to the east. So you've got that rotation within this whole system, and that's what's sending a lot of these spins around. That's why we had that earlier tornado warning down in the part of Charles County, and now we're dealing with the tornado warning in through Frederick and Washington counties until 6:15. So we'll zoom back into that area right now. It's just with this. This is not a big storm. This is right over Boonesboro right now, and I want to put on what's called velocity mode here. And velocity mode allows us to see into the storm, and we're actually able to track the velocity of the storm or the speed of the storm. And a lot of times you see something that tells you that you've got some spin. I'm not really seeing it on this. Let me check a couple other sources that I have here, because as we watch this moving through over the last hour or so, I've been tracking this very closely over the last hour, watching this one little storm with the potential for some rotation. And it does have a little bit of a hook on it a little bit earlier, and moving through Keedysville right now around Boonesboro. Let me take a look at a couple other things here as I'm looking at this with you to see if there's by chance anything on the ground out there right now. And the good news is I'm not seeing anything like that. Continues the tornado warning. Let me just get the latest. The National Weather Service just put this out until 6:15 for east central Washington and northwestern Frederick counties and north central Maryland. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado and a history of producing damage was located over Boonesboro, or 7 miles northeast of Shepherdstown, moving northeast at 15. So again, this is a storm, a tornadic storm that has had some damage. We've had some wind damage associated with this. And I saw that rotation all the way back into Berkeley County and then into Jefferson County around the Shepherdstown area. And now it's right over Boonesboro. Also notice a couple more storms forming down to the south. Any one of these could be on the could be rotating. We've got some live pictures right now out of Boonesboro. Let's take a look at that, guys. This is right along I-70 that we're looking at. Okay, good. I-70 between Boonesboro and Myersville. This is I-70 at South Mountain. So if you know that area well, around South Mountain, you can see the heavy rain is coming down there. Not a lot of wind right where that is, right where that camera is. But again, if you're driving around, notice how there's plenty of rain around. So a lot of times in our area, we get a tornado that's what's called rain wrapped. And there's probably a small tornado. This is not a big tornado. We're not talking about something that's going to take down whole homes. But if it takes down a tree and a tree goes into your house, that's the kind of tornado that we're talking about. Most likely a tornado that has winds of maybe 70 to 90 miles an hour if it was in fact on the ground. So something we will continue to watch. Here it is once again. Let me zoom on in, show you where this storm is, where it's going to be as it makes its way to the north and east here, right along the Washington County, Frederick County border. So this is right over Boonesboro right now, moving through Boonesboro and Keedysville, and then I'll go ahead and zoom in again so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But it's right along I-70, right along the 40 area as well, US 40, but there's Myersville. So you've got this region right here, and that camera that we are looking for was right up here. And that's definitely in the path of where this tornado is. It's most likely, if it's anywhere at all, and I'm looking at it right now, I want to make sure I get this right here. If it's anywhere at all, it is right now probably a little farther to the south down in this way, but it is making its way over and going to move right over I-70 here, coming up over the next 10 minutes or so, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So this is moving to the north and east at about 15 miles per hour in this area. you can see the topography. I mean, a lot of mountains here, as you know. We talked about South Mountain. You got to go over South Mountain to get from Hagerstown in towards the Frederick area. So this is an area that is mountainous. So a lot of times you're going to see this storm come over the mountains, and then it goes down the mountain and actually can enhance the tornado a little bit too. So that's something that we're going to be tracking with this. But making its way to the north and east at about 15 miles per hour, right over US 40 here, as we see 40 come into 34 right around the Boonesboro area, and then making its way from Washington County in towards areas into Frederick County. Another area of storminess back toward the west. I have not seen much in the way of rotation here, but we are still watching as these storms are moving. Now notice again, look at the spin, the whole area of spin up here with this guy. We've also got our next round of storms down here. I haven't seen the same amount of spin with this one. So this is the one that has brought us the chance for severe weather this evening. We saw that tornado warning in Charles County. Now we've got it into Frederick County and into Washington County again for this storm until 6:15. So for about another half an hour as this moves off toward the north and east at about 15 miles per hour. So making its way towards Boonesboro, just north of Royersville. You're not in this Royersville, at least the downtown area, but areas around Royersville are definitely in this. So this is going to be for Boonesboro, making its way in towards along I-70 here, along 17 out of Middletown. Now notice 17 out of Middletown. If you've driven this road, yeah, that's right in the mountains. So you're not going to be able to see this thing coming. So it's a good idea not to get out there on the road, not to get out there, not just on the open road, but not just out there because you've got so many trees out there as well. You're not going to be able to see this. This will bring down trees as it moves off to the east. Even if we don't have a tornado out there. We've seen this storm already bring down some trees back towards the west into parts of West Virginia. So as it moves into Virginia or Maryland now, in through Washington County, in through Frederick County, it's right now right on the border of both of those. So this is going to go right towards Myersville. Let's go ahead and zoom on in to that area once again to see exactly where this thing is. I'll zoom right on into that region where this storm is and where that rotation would be. But there's Myersville right there. So you've got, is that Boonesboro Mountain Road? Yeah, Boonesboro Mountain Road right there. So you've got Boonesboro Mountain Road, you've got US 40, you've got Myersville, and then as you move up toward the north and east, these are areas up here around Easter Day Road, Pleasant Walk Road, Highland School Road, all of these just off of I-70 in through the Boonesboro area and Myersville. So this is where that tornado is and continues to be right through that region right there. So this is about to come. Do we have that I-70 camera again? Because this thing's about to move over I-70. This is now, you can see the heavier rain. Notice the wind now. We didn't have much wind when I showed you this about 5 minutes ago. Now we're starting to see the trees blowing around just a little bit. So we don't have a whole lot of wind there just yet. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we don't see a whole lot of wind with that. Now, as I'm looking at this, I did see more rotation with this on the radar a little bit earlier. I'm not seeing a whole lot now on this. So this may be some good news. Maybe this is weakening. I'm looking at some of the latest information on this to see where this is. But maybe it's weakened just a little bit. But once again, this has had a history. This has had a history of some rotation associated with it. Let's come back to the maps now and show you what's happening here. So that's looking at I-70 heading to the west, heading towards Hagerstown, away from Myersville. So if you're moving away from Myersville, you're getting away from that, moving up towards Beaver Creek, up towards Washington County, up to Hagerstown. You're getting away from the possibility of a tornado there. But if it was there, it would be right between Boonesboro and Myersville. Right in this area right here. That's where we're looking. So it's right on the border now of Washington County and into Frederick County. So there's that line right there. You can see that tornado warning. Now, at any moment, we're going to see that we're going to see this reissued. If they like it, if they continue to see the potential for a tornado on there, you're going to see this box become a little bit smaller. You'll see this part of the box move over to probably right around the US 40 area if they're going to continue that tornado warning. If they're continuing to see that rotation there. I did see rotation with this a little bit earlier, not seeing it as much now, but National Weather Service still has this tornado warning going until 6:15, so that's for another half an hour. Now, as we mentioned, this is a very mountainous area. You're not going to be able to see this. A lot of rain associated with this tornado as well. You can see that right here. You've got rain out ahead of it, and you've got rain during, even some very heavy rain right now, which is about to cross over in towards portions of the I-70 area. Do we have, maybe we could get another camera, guys, that's maybe south into Frederick County, closer to Myersville. If we can get that closer to Myersville camera there, that would be helpful with this one, because that's where this is. But more thunder and lightning down farther south into Berkeley County. And once I said, as I mentioned earlier, these storms here are moving north, while these guys are moving to the east. That's that rotation that we're seeing within the whole wide big storm that allows these little rotations, like this one right here, to get going. So we don't have anything going on around the metro, getting a little bit of a break right now around the metro area. We have more rain coming down to the south and west, but it is inside that area right around Boonesboro that we are starting to see that we are seeing that thunderstorm moving on through along I-70 and in towards the Boonesboro area and the Martinsburg area. Still waiting for an update here to see if they update this closer to, it looks like they did. Let me just make look. Say that one more time for me, Jason. Yeah, so they did change that box around just a little bit. So they are continuing this. So tornado warning remains in effect until 6:15 for east central Washington and northwestern Frederick counties in north central Maryland. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Boonesboro or 9 miles southeast of Municipal Stadium, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. This is a radar indicated tornado. So they are keeping this. Now, this is what they say, and I want everybody to listen to this. This is the impacts. For those in the direct path, which is those folks in the red, and let me go ahead and zoom on in a little bit closer so we can pick out a few more areas that are in there. For areas that are in the flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Damage to roofs, siding, and windows may occur. Mobile homes may be damaged or destroyed, and tree damage is likely. So this is what we're looking at. This dangerous storm will be near Mount Lena and Wolfsville around 5:50. Let me go ahead and do that for you. Again, let's time this out as we move on towards the north and east at about 15 miles per hour. This is going to be right over 40 right now. Moving toward, I'll just go where the tornado warning is currently. And you can see that around Mousetown, 6:49. You've got Myersville at 6:05. Ellerton at around 6:11, Wolfsville, as I just mentioned, around 6:15, and then Five Forks at around 6:22. So you've got these areas that are inside this tornado warning right now, and this tornado warning going until 6:15. So we've got another 25 minutes or so of this to go as we're watching this little storm. Again, I'm seeing a little less rotation with this. I'm not as concerned now about this as I was a little bit earlier. But again, National Weather Service is looking at this in a lot of different vantage points, a lot different than what I can see right now, because I'm just looking at a couple of them. But we've got that storm right along I-70. Do we have that picture of I-70 again? Because right now this storm is right on top of I-70, making its way through. Good news is, in this location anyway, can we get another camera, guys, that's a little bit farther south? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. But I do want to see that. I do want to notice here, again, we're not seeing a lot of wind with this camera. So that tells us this one is not the one that's in the path, but you can see the very heavy rain coming down along I-70. This is I-70 west at South Mountain, moving towards the west, moving towards, away from Frederick and towards the Hagerstown area. You can see that heavy rain out there for sure. Now, the storm itself, notice this too. There is no lightning right now with this storm. Earlier, I saw a nice little area of red that was extremely heavy rainfall, and we saw some pretty good lightning and thunder with this. I'm no longer seeing that with this storm. We can go back to the maps, guys. No longer seeing that with this storm. So that tells me this storm is weakening too. Now, this storm is heading right towards areas like Thurmont. So if you live up towards Thurmont, heads up. I mean, this is going right over the Catoctin Mountains. This is going to go very close to Camp David. As a matter of fact, it's going to go right over Camp David. So this is a storm that we're going to be watching quickly. The wider picture now, or let's go back to the wider picture and show you what's going on. Did they discontinue that, guys? Just looking at that real quick. Cancels. Okay, I was looking at less rotation, and they have canceled that tornado warning. So that is very good news. They've canceled the tornado warning. Now, we still have to watch these other storms in towards Berkeley County, moving into Loudoun County right now. These storms are moving again to the east. These are moving to the north. This whole thing will continue to rotate. So that's what we're going to be watching here as we look out for the next couple of minutes. But at least watch out this storm. And let me go back. I want to go back just for a second and go back to where this storm was. And let's go. I want to zoom on in here. I'm just going to go for the last hour. And I'm going to go, I'm going to take this back. Notice we're on Boonesboro. See right there? This storm had some good lightning Look at all the orange and the yellow and the red. This was a very strong thunderstorm moving up towards Boonesboro. This is when I thought we might have a tornado warning. Actually went into the newsroom and said, hey guys, we might have to go on for a tornado warning right around the Shepherdstown area. This is where I think we might have had a tornado. We might have had damage. They didn't warn on this until after it got towards Boonesboro. And watch what happens here. The storm, as it moves up to the north and east, loses that lightning, look how it still has a little red around Boonesboro, and now no more red associated with it. So that's very good news there. Once again, we got to watch these storms around Cabletown, watch these storms around Bluemont. They are now developing. They are now moving east. They will move into parts of Loudoun County over the next hour. But for right now, no more tornado warning. That's good news. You know, we don't want to see any tornadoes around our area. D.C. right now, a little bit of a break. We've got more rain coming. We'll continue to keep you posted. Anything new that pops up from this, we'll give you the very latest on that. We'll be right back right after a short break.
The injury